बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम. सो डियर स्टूडेंट्स, आज से हम स्टार्ट करने जा रहे हैं आपका जो बीएससी सेमेस्टर जो है सेकंड. तो बीएससी सेकंड सेमेस्टर में आपका जो चैप्टर है इन द ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री, दैट इज द एरोमेटिक हाइड्रोकार्बन्स. तो ये जो चैप्टर है ये एरोमेटिक हाइड्रोकार्बन्स का जो चैप्टर है, इसमें बहुत सारे टॉपिक्स हम पढ़ेगी. जो एक टॉपिक है दैट इज द प्रिपरेशन ऑफ बेंजीन. सो आज के इस क्लास में वी विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट द प्रिपरेशन ऑफ बेंजीन. नाउ बिफोर विल गो टू द प्रिपरेशन ऑफ बेंजीन, we'll start with the aromatic hydrocarbons. Now, in shortcut, when we say aromatic hydrocarbons, so we actually mean hydrocarbons. We know they are the compounds which mainly contain carbon and hydrogen atom in them. And then in addition to that, we have nitrogen, oxygen, sulfur, halogens. But since they mainly contain hydrogen and carbon, fine, they're called hydrocarbons. Now, among the hydrocarbons, if any hydrocarbon that contains this component, this is called as benzene or phenyl ring. So if any of the hydrocarbon contains this phenyl and benzene ring, so we say these hydrocarbons, they are called as the aromatic hydrocarbons. Okay? So in general, those compounds, those hydrocarbons which contain phenyl ring or aromatic ring, which is called as benzene, so they are called as the aromatic hydrocarbons. Fine. Now among the aromatic hydrocarbons, ये जो चैप्टर है उसमें जो पहला टॉपिक है that is the preparation of benzene. So now we are going to discuss those methods only which are mostly found in your the books normally which you go through. और इसमें जहां जहां भी मेथड ऑफ प्रिपरेशन आएगा, जो भी इसमें कोई ऐसा पॉइंट आएगा विच इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर योर कॉम्पिटेटिव एग्जाम्स, लाइक व्हेन यू कंप्लीट योर बीएससी यू मे फेस पीजी एंट्रेंस एग्जामिनेशन और योर नेट एग्जामिनेशन, गेट एग्जामिनेशन एंड अदर एग्जामिनेशन फॉर एडमिशन इन द इंडियन इंस्टीट्यूट्स एंड सो ऑन. तो वो भी वायर आउट विल कम, आई विल ट्राई टू क्लैरिफाई दैट ऑल्सो. ठीक है, तो विल स्टार्ट विद द मेथड नंबर 1. So one method for the preparation of benzene, that is your polymerization. So we can prepare benzene by the polymerization of ethyne. Ethyne, we know, it's a compound which contains carbon-carbon triple bond. This is also called as acetylene. It's common nomenclature, it's called as acetylene. So it's basically carbon, triple bond carbon, then we have a hydrogen atom here, and this is another hydrogen atom. So this carbon, since it's attached with another carbon by 3 bonds, a triple bond, where one is a sigma bond and these two are pi bonds, so the hybridization of each carbon is sp. So it's a linear molecule. Now we can make benzene in the lab. We can make benzene by the polymerization of this ethyne. So basically हम क्या करते हैं in shortcut, 3 molecules of this acetylene, इसको हम दिखाते हैं ऐसे. This it means it has carbon here and then hydrogen attached. Same is the case. So the 3 molecules of acetylene or ethyne, they can polymerize when we pass these molecules through a red hot tube. Through a red hot tube. A red hot tube. Now, hota kya basically, we know that the tube-like structure, it's made up of different metals, iron, copper. You can do it, you can use the glassware, the usual glass type tube also in the lab. But provided इसका जो temperature है इतना ज़्यादा हो that is like a red hot system. ठीक है? So when it is red hot, then you pass this acetylene molecules through this, and then when it passes through this red hot tube, यहाँ से you will get the compound which is called as the benzene. You can collect that. ठीक है? So it's passed through red hot tube, और इसका जो temperature होता है that is around 8 73 Kelvin. So it's very high temperature. Okay. So you pass these acetylene through the very hard tube. 3 molecules will polymerize in this fashion. 1 pi bond is involved in linking here. So then finally you may get this benzene. Like this. So this is your benzene. Fine. Where we have now, since these bonds in the benzene, we have this alternate single and double bonds. So that means we have conjugation. इसको हमने last पे discuss किया था last semester में. So we can show this benzene by this way also. ठीक है? Sorry, we can show this benzene by this way also. So it means that we have conjugation. This is also called the resonance. So this is how we prepare benzene. This is method number 1, polymerization of ethyne when we pass that ethyne through a red hot tube. ठीक? अब इसमें एक important point जो है जहां से question आ सकता है competitive exams में, तो why it happens कि 3 molecules react to form this compound? What is the driving force? देखिए, जो आपका benzene होता है, so it has this resonance. Now what we know that resonance stabilizes the molecule. जहां पे भी resonance होता है, it usually stabilizes the molecule, becomes highly stable. So if we check the enthalpy of this product and enthalpy of these 3 acetylene molecules, so that enthalpy change, I would say enthalpy of formation, that is the enthalpy of reactants minus enthalpy of products, यहाँ पे वो बहुत negative होती है. There's decrease in the enthalpy. When the reactants react together to form the benzene ring, it leads to the decrease in the energy. That the enthalpy of formation is negative. So that decrease in the energy provides a driving force for the formation of benzene. So it's a thermodynamically, it's a favorable process, thermodynamically driven process. Okay? So this is our point number 1. That is the method number 1. Okay? Number 2. So now the method number 2 is, that is the decarboxylation of sodium benzoate. ठीक है? So we know that decarboxylation means जब भी during any chemical reaction or during any process when the carbon dioxide is evolved, when the carbon dioxide is removed, it's called as decarboxylation. यहाँ पे किसकी हो रही है decarboxylation of a compound called as sodium benzoate. So हमारा जो reactant है, or you can say हमारा जो substrate है, substrate means जिस पे reaction होती है, that is sodium benzoate. This is your sodium benzoate. So this is basically, it was benzoic acid. So benzoic acid, when we reacted that benzoic acid with, let me show it here. Let's say this is benzoic acid. Acid plus base gives salt plus आपका water. So this H is released since it's a carboxylic acid. It reacts with this OH negative. It forms water. And then यहाँ पे आ गया sodium, that's called as sodium benzoate. एसिटिक एसिड से एस्टेट, फॉर्मिक एसिड से फॉर्मेट. ठीक है? तो ऐसे हम इसको नाम देते हैं. दिस इज सोडियम बेंजोएट. सो दिस सोडियम बेंजोएट, इट अंडरगोज डिकार्बोक्सिलेशन इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड. जब हम इसको सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड के साथ ट्रीट कर लेते हैं, बट वी आल्सो यूज कैल्शियम ऑक्साइड. ये हम अभी डिस्कस करेंगे. एंड देन वी हीट दिस, देन वी विल गेट आवर कंपाउंड, दैट इज द बेंजीन. This is our benzene plus carbon dioxide is evolved in the form of sodium carbonate. ठीक है? So basically यहाँ पे जो ये जो group है, this one, it's released in the form of carbon dioxide, that is the CO2. ठीक है? लेकिन this CO2 it combines with the sodium NaO, it forms sodium carbonate. So sodium carbonate release means जो सोडियम कार्बोनेट में जो CO3 है उसमें कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड इज बेसिकली इवॉल्व्ड फ्रॉम दिस, एंड देन व्हेन इट गेट्स इवॉल्व्ड, यहां पे आपका हाइड्रोजन आ जाता है, दिस हाइड्रोजन. सो इट फॉर्म्स द बेंजीन. नाउ यहां पे क्वेश्चन है, व्हाट इज द यूज ऑफ दिस कैल्शियम ऑक्साइड. देखिए, ये जो सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड है, वी नो दैट इसकी एक प्रॉपर्टी है, इट्स हाइग्रोस्कोपिक. जैसे ही आप इसको एक्सपोज कर लेते हो, आप एक जो आपका मार्केट से जो आपका केमिकल जो आपका पैक आ जाता है, द मोमेंट यू ओपन द दैट पैक, तो इट हैज अ टेंडेंसी दैट इट कैचेस द मॉइस्चर क्विकली, ठीक है। तो अब जब सोडियम हाइड्रोक्साइड मॉइस्चर अब्सॉर्ब करेगा तो उसकी रिएक्टिविटी में थोड़ी सी फर्क आ जाता है। सो दैट्स व्हाई इन ऑर्डर टू मेक इट हाईली रिएक्टिव, इन ऑर्डर टू मेक इट्स एक्टिविटी, इन ऑर्डर टू इंक्रीज इट्स एक्टिविटी, वी यूज दिस कैल्शियम ऑक्साइड, ठीक है। सो इट प्रिवेंट्स दैट absorption of moisture from the atmosphere, ठीक है। So this is our method number 2. Now method number 3 for preparation of benzene, that is a reduction of phenol. That is your reduction of phenol. So reduction of phenol, phenol means we have benzene here. This is our benzene. Now I will show it like this. This is OH group here. That's called a phenol. ठीक है। Now phenol में we know that normally जो hydrocarbons होते हैं CH compounds. Let's say this is a CH hydrocarbon. यहाँ पे कोई इसका ग्रुप है. If you oxidize this, then you will get the first level of oxidation, that is alcohol. If you oxidize this alcohol, then you will get aldehyde or ketone. ठीक है। So let me show you this a bit. You can remember this. And if you oxidize this ketone or aldehyde, you will get carboxylic acid. Remember this. This is a scheme of oxidation. यहाँ पे alcohol है, that means it has been obtained when we oxidize benzene, something like that. So if we remove this oxygen, now that process will be called as reduction, a removal of oxygen from the substrate. Or there are many definitions, addition of hydrogen to the substrate. ठीक है? So if we treat this phenol with a reducing agent here, that is zinc, it's called as zinc dust. Remember this. As the word suggested, ये zinc, we know it's a transition metal. It belongs to a 3D transition series. ठीक है? It's highly electron rich. So it's a D10 system. It's in the form of powder. So हम एक powder को यहाँ पे use कर लेते हैं, zinc powder को. Since it's electron rich, ठीक है? So it donates electrons to this system. So we know the addition of electrons is also called as reduction. ठीक है? So in this process, what happens overall, you will get benzene with oxygen removed in the form of zinc oxide. So that means zinc ने यहाँ पे क्या दिए हैं? 2 electrons. That's why it's here in the form of Zn2+. ठीक है? So net result is that the phenol has got converted into benzene. So oxygen is removed. यहाँ पे होता है H. ठीक है? Because we know we have 6 hydrogens in this. So that means यहाँ पे oxygen is removed. So this is called as oxidation. So removal of oxygen is called oxidation. Addition of removal of oxygen is called as reduction, and addition of electrons is also called as reduction. ठीक है? So this is your third process, that is the reduction of phenol. It also gives us benzene. Now our last method as per the syllabus, that is your desulfonation. ठीक है? Or you can say it is the hydrolysis method. Hydrolysis of benzene sulfonic acid. Benzene sulfonic acid. So what we do here, हम हाइड्रोलिसिस कर लेते हैं किस कंपाउंड की? बेंजीन सल्फोनिक एसिड. हाइड्रोलिसिस हमने इसको डिस्कस किया इससे पहले भी. हाइड्रो एंड लाइसिस मींस यू ब्रेक अ कंपाउंड बाय द एडिशन ऑफ वाटर. ब्रेकेज बाय द एडिशन ऑफ वाटर. ठीक है? सो यहां पे किसको ब्रेक करना है? बेंजीन सल्फोनिक एसिड. सो आवर सबस्ट्रेट फॉर द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ फिनॉल is benzene sulfonic acid. Benzene this is SO3H. This is your benzene sulfonic acid. ठीक है? Or benzene sulfonate. Then you treat this with hydrolysis, means you are using water here. ठीक है? So then what you get, you actually result in the formation of your compound, that is, so your product is benzene. Now यहाँ जो important point ये है कि we use this water, we don't use this normal water जो हमारे पास होता है. We use this in the form of steam, in the form of vapor. Remember this. That means जो आपका water होगा, that is in the form of vapor. और जो ये steam होती है, this is called as यहाँ पे Especially it's called a superheated steam. So it is super. Now ये important concepts है जो मैं यहाँ पे discuss कर रहा हूँ. Superheated steam means you treat this, you expose this benzene sulfonic acid with this water, but that water is in the form of steam. तो उससे क्या होता है? You have this water is OH. So you get here H2SO4 plus that hydrogen comes here, then finally you have benzene formation. So we are using water in the form of superheated steam. Since we have broken this S and this carbon bond with the help of water in the form of steam, it's called a hydrolysis. And this compound was benzene sulfonic acid. It's called a hydrolysis of benzene sulfonic acid or benzene sulfonate. Then you will get the benzene. So these are the four methods which we commonly use in the for the preparation of benzene. And यही चार methods है जो आपके syllabus में है. तो इसमें मैकेनिज्म इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है. जहां जहां भी मैकेनिज्म इंपॉर्टेंट होगा इस लेवल पे, सो आई विल डिस्कस दोस. ठीक है, यहां पे मैकेनिज्म इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं था इन चार में, तो आई हैव स्किप्ड दैट. लेकिन जो इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स है फ्रॉम द कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्जामिनेशन पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू दैट आई हैव डिस्कस्ड, आई विल अगेन गो बैक टू दीज फोर मेथड्स इन शॉर्टकट. सो द प्रिपरेशन ऑफ बेंजीन नंबर 1 इज द पॉलीमराइजेशन ऑफ इथाइन और एस्टिलीन. कैसे करते हैं? 3 मॉलिक्यूल्स ऑफ एस्टिलीन, दे रिएक्ट विथ ईच अदर. ठीक है, they polymerize to form benzene when we pass these molecules through a red hot tube, temperature 873. Number 1. So यहाँ पे driving force क्या है? That is decrease in the enthalpy. Now second method is decarboxylation of sodium benzoate. Sodium benzoate को जब हम treat कर लेते हैं with sodium hydroxide, and then we heat also this, but we use calcium oxide. Without this also we can get, but वो जो है it's a slow process. ठीक है, so we use calcium oxide in order to prevent the water absorbing tendency, moisture absorbing tendency of the sodium hydroxide. So it results in the form of benzene along with sodium carbonate. So carbon dioxide is evolved in the form of sodium carbonate. Number 3 method is reduction of phenol. Reduction means removal of oxygen, or reduction is also addition of electrons, or reduction is also addition of hydrogen. ठीक है. Now if we treat this with a reducing agent called as zinc in the form of powder called zinc dust. Why we use zinc? Because it's electron rich. It belongs to a 3D transition series. It's a D10 system. इसको हम यहाँ ज्यादा डिस्कस नहीं करेंगे. That it is जो आपकी D subshell है उसमें 10 electrons है. It's completely filled electron rich. So it donates electrons to this oxygen, and also it results final processes will get zinc oxide. That is zinc gets itself oxidized to +2. So result is that this phenol gets converted to benzene. And then जो हमारा last method है, that is the hydrolysis of benzene sulfonic acid or benzene sulfonate. That is, you have this benzene sulfonate, you treat this with water, you hydrolyze this with the help of water, but that water is in the form of vapors or steam. यहाँ पे मैंने concept use किया superheated steam. Means जब आपके पास water होगा in the form of vapors, लेकिन जो boiling temperature उसका होगा TB, that is greater than the boiling point of water. That's very very high. जो नॉर्मल बॉइलिंग पॉइंट होता है 100 डिग्री. सो व्हेन यू हैव टेम्परेचर लाइक 150 या 200 डिग्री, वहां पे जो स्टीम हमें मिलेगा दैट्स कॉल्ड एज नॉर्मली सुपरहीटेड स्टीम. सो इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ दैट स्टीम दिस मॉलिक्यूल गेट्स हाइड्रोलाइज्ड टू फॉर्म बेंजीन. ठीक है, तो ये हमारे 4 मेथड्स हो गए फॉर द प्रिपरेशन ऑफ बेंजीन. सो देन विल मूव टू द नेक्स्ट दोज केमिकल रिएक्शंस एंड इंपॉर्टेंट रिएक्शंस. जहां पे मैकेनिज्म होगा देयर आई विल बी डिस्कसिंग इट. इसके अलावा भी इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चन सो यू कैन राइट डाउन इन द ग्रुप. सो I will try to arrange odd classes, maybe 2 classes in a week, so that जब तक आपका जब आपकी classes start हो जाएंगे then we can do it. So stay with this. इसको आप देख लीजिए. You can note down these all important points also. ठीक है, तो इसके अलावा जो ये पेज है I will also try to upload this in the description of this video. ठीक है, so कोई भी question हो तो आप ग्रुप में लिख सकते हो. Thank you. This is all for today.